Let's try this again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are helping Rabbit Ashe. He won the sub coaching. Basically, for every 10 subs, we do a sub coaching session. We're going to take a look at the Silver 4 game. Rabbit gave me some information. He said, I am Silver 4 now, ADC main, playing Ashe and never playing Draven again. I'm not that fast at typing, feels bad, man. That's the information we have. Rabbit has been a frequent visitor of my dear stream. We started reviewing one of his Draven games, but then I just told him to fuck off of Draven, because honestly, if you're Silver, don't play Draven. That's just life. So we're gonna be following this Ashe. Let's just get to it. Welcome to the Samonetta Rivetta. Just removing these apples. There's these apple things everywhere. So if Vega is trolling, because he should stand here. Spotting here is very important. It's very important because people can get access to this bush. People can get access to this bush, especially if someone's covering here. So it's very troll. Something that you can do in early ranks is if you rally your teammates to level 1 invade, then many times you can catch people like this. Imagine you come from an angle like that and then you go on him. He's going to be blind up until this point here. And then that would be very nice too, you know. You can go here. Okay. So usually the most common mistakes at this rank with AD carries is that they don't see us too well. Wave management is not really a thought process anymore. But I think a very simple rule is to, like, a quick way to improve in Silver is just to look to harass the enemy as much as possible. And that's why Ashe and Nami are very simple to play. I think it just comes down to you harassing. Ashe, you can just play on volley. Volley and hit, volley and hit. This is what you should practice. Auto attack, volley, and then use that as like your benchmark. Both bot lanes leashed. Here you should walk up. You should trust yourself. There's no reason to be scared. Both AD carries use the spell, and Nami is stronger. So here you should definitely walk up and trust your skills a little bit. You know, don't give up. Because you guys are stronger level 1, and if you are less afraid here, it's going to be better. Because even if she hits you with the binding and you're fighting in your own creeps, you're going to win. So it's more important to be less afraid here. Contest level 1 wave. You shouldn't. On top of that, you should just. You should also make sure that you don't leash as long as you did, because the first thing you do when you come to lane is volleying, and you don't want to do that. You want to be there a bit ahead of time, and it's just better. And this ward is kind of unnecessary. What are you really covering here? You know that Morgana and Kaiser leashed blue. No mastery in history has level 2 ganked with blue buff onto bottom, unless it's like 100%. So try to be a bit more mindful of where you place your ward, because this makes very little sense. Usually the most easy pattern to learn about junglers is like where they start. There is the option of them taking 3 camps into gank, so that's like a 30-minute timer, and then there's an option of them full clearing, and then if they don't show here, they base and go into bottom, and then they'll be back here at around 4 minutes. So those are usually the timers you want to cover. So here, don't be afraid, walk up. Obviously, you're at the mercy of your own Nami, but I think if you show off here a little bit, she's going to follow. So here, Morgana and Kaiser, they will have the prio. Keep hitting back. Try not to use your volley in such a manner. So basically, it's better to try to find angles. You want to volley from a position like here, or you want to volley from a position like here, what I'm zooming in on. So you cover more of the space. Here you're just volleying 3 melee creeps and it doesn't do too much, or range creeps or whatever that was. Try to always look for angles where you can W the person. For example, here the ward was placed in the bush. You can walk towards the bush here and then look to fish. Always use your range. Here you have a massive range advantage over Kaiser. Like this volley did absolutely nothing. And then your Nami is, of course, she's not playing the game. So that's also quite problematic. But if you become better, you can still 1v2 the way these guys are playing. Here also you can look to walk up a little bit more. Always move in a way where you keep a good distance off of Kaiser. Because what you can look to do, especially with your range advantages, you can walk up all the way here to behind the melee creeps, and you can auto her and walk away, auto her and walk away. Because that's how you look to punish always. And if you auto her, the creeps are going to begin to chase you, you walk back, you only auto once, that's very important. And then you walk all the way back, because this is going to pull the creeps and it's going to make them aggro. But here, a major flaw with all of this is that Nami is not really playing the game. But you can still do better. Here, always try to feather the range of Kaiser, meaning that you have an advantage. Ideally, Nami is positioned here. You guys are keeping a line. Honestly, I really need EpiPen. So let me just figure out how to do this with EpiPen. Hello. Okay. So ideally what you want to do when you're playing is, your range is longer, right? You have a longer range than Kaiser. So you want to always keep yourself at your own range. And you want to hide behind the creeps. Because Morgana will have to walk up here to try to find an angle for you. And then you defend it in this sweet spot here behind the creeps, right? So you can walk up a little bit further. And then your Nami should walk here. Because what you want to do is you want to maintain the same line always. You want to maintain the same line because you can always collapse on one target. You can collapse on one target and you cover more space like this. Ideally is you cover this angle, Nami covers this angle. You keep the line here, and then if fighting occurs in the middle, it is better. Because ideally you stand up here, you hit, you keep Kaiser at a feather range, meaning you hit, walk away, hit, walk away, right? The creeps will get pulled, which is fine, which is good. And then Nami maintains this space. Because Nami, this is the only angle Morgana can Q you from, right? She can also Q you from here, definitely, sure. She can Q you from here too, but it's no problem. You will maintain yourself in this position. And then if Morgana is positioning here on this X, if Morgana is here, you can also walk up, right? To wipe the camera, too blurry. But of course, yeah, let's just continue and see if we have another scenario of this, a better example. Nami still didn't do anything. She has zero activity here. Here, trust your creeps a bit more. You don't need to walk here, you don't need to make it difficult. Just trust your creeps. Trust your creeps. This is better. Don't use your volley like that. Keep in mind your volley is the most powerful spell, most OP spell on your champ. You need to look to harass more with your volley. Like think of it as you're just supposed to W the enemy. Make that a purpose of yours. Make it a purpose of yours to W the enemy. It covers such a long distance. Takeshi69, thank you so much for subscribing. I mean, Taki GG. Thank you so much. Welcome to the sub squad. Let's continue. Always look to volley the enemy team. It's just the most OP spell, and really put yourself in that mindset. Here, especially when Nami is not helping you, hit the wave. Hit the wave. Don't stop hitting the wave. Line up the creeps so you can CS them in good sequence, so they don't die all at once, right? So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and blah blah blah, right? Think of it as like a little game you're playing with yourself. What is the sequence of the CS? The next thing when it comes to CSing, the next level of it is to try to think of what sequencing the enemy is going to have, right? Whatever sequencing she has, and you look to hit them while they are doing a CS, because that's the perfect time to trade, and to hit them back is when they are CSing, because they're going to use a cooldown, right? Auto-attacking is a cooldown. Attack speed reduces the cooldown of your auto-attack, and when they're auto-attacking creep, that's when they are exposed and you can hit them back, especially with a champion like Ashe. So already now we can say that the habit of you using your W is very bad. You need to keep hitting creeps, and you need to abuse your distance a bit. You can look to find angles here, you can find angles here, and Nami needs to cover more space for you, because if we review Nami's gameplay, she's quite terrible. She's not doing very little in terms of presence. This is her presence right now, and it has zero impact on anything useful. And your presence is right now like that, and right now the enemy is just covering, like she has a bit less range as Kai'Sa, so this circle is going to be obviously smaller. But if they're just positioned better onto the wave, and we can't. You have a slightly longer range, right, with volley and auto attack, so you can easily cover more distance, and this is how you build an advantage. Later on, Kai'Sa is more powerful in terms of burst, more damage in terms of all-in, more mobile, better against all-in champions as well. This is the gain. Your gain is range, and the range needs to be used in the lane phase. So ideally here, if we look at this position, where is Ashe positioned? Ideally Nami is here and you are here, right? And then if Morgana is chasing you, you move into the creeps, and then you both hit the wave. Kai'Sa Morgana goal here is to also hit the wave, thin it out as much as possible. Both junglers are pathing into top. The timing of getting level 3 ganked is gone, right? It's gone. It's completely gone. Not completely gone, some junglers do whack shit, right? But most junglers by now, if they didn't gank, it means they are pathing into top. Both bot lanes leashed, right? Greetings, Artificial. How are things going? Are you improving? So once again, I repeat. Ashe here, Nami here, better. You can poke, Kai'Sa, pressure off, and then you can hit the wave and get the prio, right? Because this is a good time for you guys to slow push a wave in and then to bounce it. It will be a good timer on 4 minute, because most of the time Mastery is gonna full clear, base, and go into bottom. And then you'll have safety or even pressure for Morgana against Morgana Kai'Sa, because Ramos will also come in at a very similar time. But Mastery clear is a bit better. It's a bit faster than Ramos. Let's continue. So here, just push. Don't let them fight you back. You're not playing the game with the support, so I will give you that. That's completely fair. That's a volley onto Kai'Sa. Was nice. Good volley. This was one of the better volleys that you did. Thank you so much, Fireblade, for subscribing. Make some mother flipping noise in the chat using his Twitch Prime. Thank you. Okay, let's continue this. Good auto attack there that you squeezed in. This is something that you can do constantly. That was a good movement too. Always what you can do is think of Morgana's line of sight, right? Or line of I don't know the correct term for it, but think of where she can, line of projectiles, okay? Basically what higher level players do is they always think of it like this, right? Right now, this is where she can Q, right? So if you keep yourself here in this area, you're safe. because of the creeps. The creeps keep you blocked. And this is a circle that constantly moves with Morgana, right? Her range is a bit longer than this. So here, when she's moving, the circle also moves, right? Because here, an easy movement for you could be to step up here. Because here, it's the same way. Here's the same way. This is your safety net, right? Because Morgana movement is very bad here. Very, very bad movement. If you step here, you can hit her. You can hit her. You can hit her like you mean it, you know? Because this is, what she's doing right now is crazy. Nami should also walk up. Nami should definitely walk up. Because right now, what I'm noticing is you're just too scared of getting hit by Morgana Q, and I think you can punish the Morgana a lot more. Then you hit her back, but the bone plating was on. Now you begin to push. So now is a very standard timing for you guys to start getting the wave into the tower. Another thing is the way you use your E. I didn't see your first E. The way you use your first E, let's just find it. You spot Master Yo-Yo now. Master is in the river. Here is a good E to send it through Raptor and Golems. Good time to E. Usually the most natural E's that you should always throw out as Ashe is just cover as many jungle camps as possible. Like for example here, if you're pushing, it's better because you can cover the whole map. Meaning that, like imagine you shoot your eagle like that, right? Like this, you will spot everyone. Like this, you will spot most of the things that are important, right? So shoot out your eagle right now, spot the Master Yo-Yo, get into the habit of trying to spot the jungle as much as possible. Another thing that you can use is, for example, here in this trade that's coming up, it's much easier here if you E. So for example, here you can throw the E, will have vision, and Morgana can get heavily punished here. Like right now, Morgana has the burn flash. Morgana has to burn flash here if the reaction is proper here, because she's committing, bone plating is off cooldown, guardian is off cooldown, she's too low mana, and she's going to aggro here. But luckily here, the mistake that Morgana did was she basic attacked Nami for no reason. She basic attacked Nami, which reveals her in the bush, of course. So you got to get a good trade regardless. But the Nami is quite reportable here, I think. Because here she just needs to E you and let you go ham. Here also you're running back when you don't need to. Here you should hit. You have lethal tempo on. Keep this in mind. Lethal tempo makes you very, very strong. The enemy has fleet footwork, no press the attack. Your trades there are going to be better. Ideally what you want to do is you fish with your volley. Fish with your volley, hit the enemies, get lethal tempo, get push with lethal tempo, or trade with lethal tempo. Here lethal tempo is on, you can definitely hit the Kaiser. Keep in mind now, Morgana has no Q. Q is cooldown, no Q. Kaiser, no Q, no W. She used it on Kaiser and also use Q here on you. Here is once again where you can chunk Kaiser a lot. So pay attention to this. Pay attention to the cooldowns of people. Pay attention to the movement of people. Always look to get as much damage in as possible. But the number one rule that I would give you right now is just be very mindful of how you use your volley. Because your volley really defines your champion in your early lane phase. If you use it good, then you're going to be so much stronger. Here, no reason to be afraid. I need to check how you use your E, because your E just flew out. So, what on earth are you aiming for? What on earth was this? So this is like, you know, at your level, just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. This E, there's very, very little reason to this E. We had the tussle here in the river. Master ECS was spotted. I wanted to check if E was bot lane. The thing is, this is not how you check if E is bot lane. You check if E is bot lane if these camps are gone, or if he's there. Because if you know he's not in this area, then he has only one other option, and that's to be in here. And then you can respect. But this covers nothing. You always want to make sure that your E's cover a jungle quadrant. Because if you cover a jungle quadrant, meaning if you, well, in this particular scenario, the information that you have on E is that he was spotted here with Ramos 20 seconds ago. If you E directly like that, meaning you cover Raptor and you cover Golem, if you don't spot E here, then you can begin to think maybe he's coming for us bottom, maybe you rush Crab. If he's here, you know he's here. If the jungle is up, then for sure, most of the time he's going for bottom side Crab and he's going Golem, right? So you need to use your best judgment. It is better, instead of looking to snipe Master E, right? Instead of looking to snipe Master E, try to cover as much area as possible, and then through that information, make a judgment, right? Make a judgment call on where he is going to be. So once again, if he wasn't spotted here, it's very like, maybe it seems like I'm Captain Hindsight here, but this is like, I would know Master E's position here. Better players would know Master E's position here always, and the E is good to do. Just get into the habit of using E that crosses the jungle, right? It's the same in competitive play, right? In competitive play, getting vision means not getting wards everywhere. This is not vision in competitive play. In competitive play, vision is taking full space of one side. You put pink in river, because this is the space you can always contest, right? Putting pinks in enemy jungle is not that great because they will die, right? And then you put your yellow wards in this space, right? And the way you cover a space is that you cover every entrance. You cover every entrance, because you know if they pass, you know they're in this space, and that's what matters. But if they didn't pass, and they're not showing on the waves, and they're not showing in the jungle, the conclusion is easy. Even though this is fog, we know that they're in this space, right? So this is how pro players and higher level players just judge information. So you narrow down the options, and when you've narrowed down enough options, there can only be one solution, right? It is like simple and easy Sudoku, you know? With so the easiest way, Rabbit, just learn these E's that just cross the jungle and cross as many jungle camps as possible, you know? So for example, on blue side, the best one that you can do is when you're pushing is just to cut this distance, you know? You see this E angle that I'm doing on the map? If you do this E, it covers the whole map. It's really OP, right? This is the best one. On red side, the best one you can do is one that covers like that, you know? One that hits both the wolves and the blue and the gromp. This is where it lands. And it covers the raptors and the red as well, right? The only thing that you don't see, your blind spot, will be golems. But even if you push further and you're hitting the enemy turret, you can do something like that, you know? Think of it like this. Just try to cover as long distance as possible. And ideally, what you do with Ashe, almost always use the max range unless you're doing it for a specific reason. Let's say you're fighting at Nashor, you want to spot Nashor or Drake, then that's fine. Or if you want to spot a bush, then that's fine to make a short distance one. but most of the time you want to cover as much distance as possible because you're spotting it. Think of it as one of these plants, right? So your volley usage and your usage of W needs to really improve. What you can consider as well, like the next thing that you need to learn, is you need to get into the habit of constantly out-attacking the wave. And then what you can do is, of course, auto-attack cancelled with Q. Once again here, your W was kind of pointless. Here you're walking up very aggressively. This is a bit too much, because this is not a position where you want to trade in. The golem, the cannon minion is right there hugging you and kissing you. And the Morgana line of sight here is quite large. So you're stepping into a space that is very dangerous, and Kai'Sa will isolated Q you. You have this melee minion protecting you, but if you auto here, you're going to do a bad trade. Ideally what you do here is that you stay in this position, together hold this line, and then chip away, and then look to volley. So basically you step up here, you look to volley, you step up here, you look to volley, right? You always want to step up from the side of the wave. You play Jace in a very similar way. Like if you play Jace on lane, basically what you do is you chase the enemy around, you keep yourself away from creeps, and then you look to Shock Blast. You look to Q, you look to Shock Blast, always from angles. Especially with champions like Kai'Sa, she's very short range. She needs to walk forward. She needs to walk forward, be a part of these creeps in order to last it. This is why Jace is considered the counter into Cannon, because he has such a low attack range that you can almost always catch him with a Q into the range creeps. They're not going to defend them, right? So think of this. So this, you walking up here is very dangerous. Not so good. You took a bad trade. That's a good auto. He took a lot of time clearing his jungle. So very hard for me to judge these junglers. That's a good job. The enemy team is walking up a bit too far. The Nami is not really playing the game, so that's annoying. Here you waste an auto on a creep here. So here you auto the creep. You should be autoing Kai'Sa already. Like here you should be hitting Kai'Sa, and Nami should E. Like this Nami is... Why are you running? Why? Why are you running? This is incredibly frustrating to watch. Nami is... This is really... She's running! She's running! Why are you running? Why? Ole, bubble. Bubble, yeah. See, your lane position is kind of tricky. I mentioned before with Master Yo-Yo and his clear timer. He's coming into bottom side now. Let's see if you have E on cooldown, doesn't cost any mana. You can use E. Another E could be good here. You just drive it through, so you spot the whole jungle. And then in regards to your trade, you missed one auto, and then you chased too far. You got isolated Q. So Kai'Sa's Q does more damage if you're isolated. She's from the void, of course. And then the issue is that Nami is a clown. So here, that's enough. That's enough, and then you dodge. Last auto and you dodge. This arrow, dodge. Right? Keep in mind that your Q also cancels your auto attack animation. So you just went too far. Here your lane is kind of in trouble. But Nami could also just heal you up and you guys could win. Like here is a winnable situation. Like here you guys are stronger, you know? So definitely, like you also had a potion. Like you should use your potion. Potions are good. You also have in about 3 minutes you can in 1 minute you can use another cookie. Another thing is I need to take a look at how you're using your cookies. How do you use your cookies? So what the fuck was that? You're just using your cookie without thinking. Your cookie heals you depending. Your cookie is heals more depending on how little HP you have and how little mana you have. So what the best players do is that they use cookies and biscuits when they are They're using it as the last reserve. They're using it as an all-in tool. They're using it as, you know, biscuits don't last that long, you know. The heal restore missing health and mana over 5 seconds. So it can be used as a, you know, as a tool in an all-in situation when you're dropping low HP. You have 300 HP, use a biscuit, it's good. When you are completely so basically this is just mana reserve. It's a mana reserve. You just ate a cookie. This is diabetic behavior, just eating cookies like this. This is very, very important that you change. Very important habit. Also, I realize now that you also don't have like if you go Alacrity, it means you're going Blade of the Ruined King. You're going Blade of the Ruined King, you should go, what's it called? The shield, that lifesteal shield. Okay. So biscuit usage, big no. Here base timer. Overheal, thank you, overheal. Here, use your potion. Use your potion, stay in lane. Your Nami has a headache. It's going so far that you know, I don't know. Like the level of the supports is definitely going to make it harder for you to play. Okay, you're back to lane, you bought a Vampiric, but the enemy has a BF. BF is better than Vampiric, of course. But luckily, so here, what you should do in this wave position, Ramos is obviously trolling. Right now, the wave is 3 caster, 2 caster, 2 melee versus 1 melee, cannon. What does this mean? Enemy, slow push. Slow push. Enemy position, no item, no HP, need to base. Need to base. Here, you want to just maintain. You want to deny them as much CS as possible. Don't push. Don't push. Slow push. Especially now Kaiser didn't base for another one. She got greedy for a cannon. Here you can get very far ahead on CS if you freeze this wave. So ideally, the thought process is if the enemy having a frozen wave is most of the time a very beneficial position for you, unless you're gonna get dove, and you're not gonna get dove most of the time at this rank. So here, a common rule that you can have for yourself: if the enemy is basing, you want to freeze. If the wave is not frozen and the enemy is basing, you want to push in the wave just so it can bounce and then you can freeze. Right? That's the whole thought process. Because if you manage to get the wave in a position where it pushes towards you, it means the enemy is losing CS. In some cases, you can push the wave fast enough for this to crash and all of the creeps to die, but this is not one of those cases. Why not hard push to deny the minions on the tower? It's just because they will not. You don't hard push this on time. Nami and Ashe are just too weak to hard push. So well, we can play it. Look at this. So this is hard pushing. Well, she's not basing. Like what's she doing here? What the fuck, man? KZ trademark. Just because she's doing this shenanigans, maybe your move works. What if he needs to base as well? If he needs to base as well, then his lane is just in a bad position, and sometimes you can match the base of Kaiser and let the wave freeze. If the wave is freezing towards you and you can't push on time and you need to base, then you just go for the base and you keep the freeze and you come back the same timing as Kaiser. Slow push towards you. Slow push towards you is also a freeze. That's the same concept. A freeze is when a player is standing there and just killing enough of the wave to make sure that that's enough. So Kaiser, like honestly, Kaiser trolling made this work remotely. Jesus, you all got fried. So this is not a good call. It's just this is just troll. Here you cancel many autos. Here, just abandon him. In silver, you have to accept that you abandon people. This is not a good call at all. It's just not good. But honestly, it could potentially work if Veigar came right away. If Veigar came right away, maybe it could work. Because Kaiser's in base. It's not too terrible. It's not too terrible. Because look at Nocturne rotation. Look at him. He knows what's up. So it could work. It could work. The problem is just Veigar is doing his best Nami cosplay, and the Lux ult is pretty good. It's fine. It's not the end of the days. Hugo 9584 popping off with the Nocturne ult. Darius Nocturne, that's a great matchup. JK, never heard of it. Okay. Now there was so many creeps that were forgotten and killed during all of this. Here as well, she fucking dematerializes it, but this as well, just because of how healthy the cannon is, they actually can freeze this. They can freeze this and deny you once again, because just because of the proximity of this wave and this wave coming in, they will most likely not push on time. They're not push on time, and maybe they push on time, right, and get the wave into the turret, but you're going to gain a lot of CS if they do that. So in this position, it's just better for them to freeze. Because of the lane position. Now you're walking back, you have Cutlass into BF. They pushed in, and as you can see, you're catching all of this. You're catching all of this. Imagine they froze, you would lose 6 CS, 7 CS, right? Here always when, first, you should never be in danger while last hitting melee creeps. So here the only danger that you put yourself in is because you want to get that juicy cannon. The juicy cannon, you walk up and that's it. And then you eat the Morgana binding. The main idea is that when you're last hitting melee creeps, you should almost always be in a safe position. Cannons are the exception because they are a bit lower range. But you can stand here and just always be out of Q of Morgana range. Then the next wave will always come and defend you to get arranged. But it doesn't matter too much, you will be healthy, but it's just something to think about, Rabbit, okay? We continue. So here, if you don't know the position of the enemy, right now you are in a position where the wave crashed, obviously on your side. This is a slow push into the enemy. It is better for you to build a big wave. Right now you're just auto-attacking. The point of auto-attacking, what we said earlier, why I wanted you to auto-attack, is because the enemy was contesting. You want to maintain the wave in a position where you're pushing. If the enemy is contesting, you keep hitting, and sometimes you need to, of course, keep your Ashe passive up, but this is a position where the enemy is missing. Right now, you need to figure out their decision, what are they doing. In some cases you push, but this is too early in the game, so you don't need to hard push. You can stack a wave. So here you just hit slowly, make this wave crash together with this one and make a big wave hit into the turret. When you do that, maybe you can fight for some platings, maybe you can look to harass them at the tower. Make it difficult for them to last hit all these creeps under the turret. Because now if you auto push, Kaiser is not gonna lose anything. Because here if you slow push as well, if you didn't hit these minions that hard, maybe more minions would die and Kaiser wouldn't be able to walk up. But now you're just sending 6 creeps into her, right? Sending these 6 creeps into her and she's very, very happy. You could have pushed it slow and it's better. What are the requirements to freeze, recall, then still catch up the wave? That you recall at a similar time as the enemy, and then that the wave is not too large and the wave is not too small. So too small most of the time it's like 2-3 range creeps, usually too small. The position matters as well. So the lane is at the middle here, so the creeps are fighting here when it's even, right? And then it's like there's an RNG percentage that ruins situations too. If it's in this direction, it means obviously that the next wave will come faster from here and the next wave will come faster from here. If you are freezing in this position, usually you want the enemy to have maybe like 2 melees, 2 ranged plus over your wave. Even that can be very dangerous. It also depends on which wave it is on. If next is cannon, then cannon coming earlier will also impact it. There is a lot of variety of situations, you know? A lot of variety. 2 ranged is almost never freezing because they die too fast. 2 ranged plus melee is freezing. 3 range is freezing if it's not cannon, but cannon will break it, so it will freeze until cannon. 2 range, 2 melee maybe will push too hard, but it should be fine still. So there's too many unique scenarios to give you guys a rule. It's just something that you will build your instinct over time when it comes to it. You will look at the wave and you'll learn to judge the wave. Maybe what I can do is, you know, every example that we will find now in this game is I'll just point it out. So now Romus is going for another attempt. So looking at your wave and bottom, it's completely fine. You're doing some hits here. This is a decent trade. Keep in mind you have lifesteal. You could have also used Cutlass. She's 6 now. Your 6 is up now as well. What you can do as well, a good way to learn how to arrow good is to arrow often. Many AD carries and many Ashe players, they never use R, and that's how they never learn how to use R. The opportunities might be rare, especially when you're playing against Morgana, because her mindset is going to be keep Morgana shield for the black for the arrow, right? So this could have been an opportunity where you could abuse the fact that you're reaching level 6. You could have pushed an advantage, but maybe this is not the best scenario because she has summoner advantage, and maybe you would lose here because of the proximity of Morgana. So it's fine. It's fine. Just here you did good because you kept the position. You kept the position towards Drake, and moving into this space is the most important thing. If Kaiser went first, then it would have been better for her. Irrelevant to what's going on here. That's cool. Remember, use your Cutlass. Use your Cutlass. Never forget your Cutlass. Never forget your Cutlass. Cutlass is another one of those things where when it comes to lower ranked players, it's better to just use Cutlass on cooldown than to keep it for the best moment, you know? Just get into the habit of using it. That's more important. You got some hits in. Alright, you're back enough. So these CS numbers are not okay. Alright? These CS numbers are not okay. We can even look at it across the board. Like, this is just very, very low. This is just missing a lot of CS, managing wave horribly, which is usually the most common mistakes. Hopefully what I pointed out makes sense to you. I think the time you based was bad, the time you pushed in was bad. There's a lot of variety of mistakes. For example, now would be on your next volley would be good to use Biscuit, right? Would be good to use Biscuit. This is unintended genius bait. Keep in mind you have Cutlass. And Kaiser has no spells, she's not gonna pop you here, so... Okay, this was terrible on many levels. Let's take a look. Morgana needs to Q off of this because she can actually land the Q before the Black Shield onto Kaiser and look for you guys to kill. Another thing that you can think about is using heal earlier is in a lot of cases better because people ignite late. So for example here, you could have healed now. If you heal now, you will heal for full and you can punish the fact that he didn't ignite instantly. That's another thing that you can think about, right? And then you would survive better and you guys would definitely get away with some kills here. That's when the ignite comes in. So here... No. He can just Q the creep, I don't know what he's doing. He has that's a reset, boom. Q the creep, turret reset, and I thought healing is something I'd rather use for saving me. Well, it would save you. Think of it. Yeah, this guy. Don't get me started on this guy, man. What a fucking trooper. Healing would save you here if you didn't use it while you were ignited. You just heal more. The heal is not like... you're using your heal as if it's a barrier, you know? You use barrier in last moments, the things that are going to kill you or so forth. But generally speaking, you just want to heal when the all-in is commencing, and the better you are, the better of a feeling you will have for when the all-ins happen. But considering Ramos was ganking here, you guys were pretty all-in, you know? Okay. Here this arrow is pretty trash because there's even if you hit, you can brag to your mother, but it's like it doesn't make a difference. You're not gonna kill anything. So here another thing that you can do, especially when you're coming back to lane, is you can E through the lane and then chase and cancel recalls. Because here if you cancel Kaiser recall, you're going to have a lot of tempo. It will be very beneficial too. So really try to make use of this. When you're coming back to lane, they just pushed in, E. So this coaching, someone paid, who is he coaching, how does it work? Basically you can pay for coaching, you can, $75 for a game review and also with the conversation. And then when we reach 11 subs, we also coach another person. Right after this game, we're going to talk about who's next in line. We will see who, or we'll review some pro games, meaning like some pro player solo queue games of like some important champion that is meta defining right now, and we can learn together. So let's take a look at this E. Well, you hit Lux. The fuck? That's this E was similar to your biscuits. Similar to your biscuits. Okay. So your Nami is just abandoning you. Here, once again, what is the lesson here? Morgana's position is here. So when she's in the bush, the space she's controlling is much larger, right? She can stand here, she can stand here, she can stand here. When you don't have vision of the bush, Morgana becomes as big as the bush. She becomes the bush. Go behind the minions. Why? The thing that I want you to highlight here and to really focus on is having the imagination to instantly think of something like this. You know, she can. This is a blind spot for her. This is the blind spot for her. But if she's in the bush, she becomes the bush. Meaning, she can be here. She can be here. She covers the whole bush. And then you can go here. You can go here. You can be in this space, and you can look to volley. Another way to avoid Morgana Qs is that when she's in the bush, you can also avoid her through range. So for example, when she's controlling the bush, it doesn't matter if you and Nami are standing up here, right? I think it's very worth it to skill E. In some cases, I would even skill E rank 2. Okay? Rabbit, you're making jokes in the chat, or are you taking this in? Yeah? She becomes the bush. Really. If you enter a bush, you become the bush. All of a sudden, Morgana circle is like this. If she's in the bush, Morgana circle becomes like this. Alright? Becomes this big. Because you don't know where she is. She can be here, and that's her circle, right? She can be here, and this is her circle. She can be here, this is a circle. I'm taking it in, Mr. Yamato. Okay, good. Okay. So what happened to you? You didn't think about Morgana becoming the bush. Here, Nami should be here, you should be here. What is happening here? Also, when she's walking, keep in mind you can use E. You can use E to spot her and harass her. But this is very tricky because this little fish here, you cannot trust her. She's a shifty. Probably an AI. Like this is an intermediate bot. This is just a bot to see how far he can get in the ranked system. Okay, your base. But Larlen, what I'm suggesting is indifferent of what Nami is doing or not. Because this lane is still 1v2able based off of how they are playing. Thank you so much, KDOP, for the host. You always bless my day. Okay. All right. Same issues. I am Luximus Prime. Okay. Here you have Blade Rune King into the enemy, so you're much stronger. She rushed Shurelia for some reason, not sure there. It's a spicy build for a Nami. Nocturne mid lane. Bad flash from Lux. Too late. Sanguine Blade. OP. Always maintain the distance from Morgana. Always maintain the distance from Morgana. She's walking up. You can easily W here. Volley, 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 volley. Kite backwards. It's better. Here you stop to auto in a position where Morgana is in your space. Sure, you can be a good player and dodge. That works too. Like the best players are going to look to pressure off of this and walk up and just be confident enough to dodge. But you should get into the habit of understanding the space that Morgana covers and the enemy support always covers. If you learn to master this, you're going to play much better as well. And then the next level is to understand. First, you need to understand your distance, right? Your distance. And then you need to understand the enemy's distance. And then you want to make sure that your distance crosses his circle, but yours, but hers not really reaching into you, you know? So basically, the way I would present it is, this is your range. This is the enemy range. You want to really always maintain yourself here, right? This is the sweet spot. The better you get as a player, then you'll also begin to understand that, especially with skill shots, even though the range of most skill shots is very wide, the further they need to travel, the harder it is to land them. I think on Nami, the rare scenario is that Athene's is so goddamn powerful, because it gives you so much AP together with your support item, and the Nami AP scalings are really good. So I think Nami, Karma, champions that are worth to have Athene. Can't think of any other option. The problematic thing with Athene is that Athene's build path is pretty trash. Chalice is a fine item, but there are better, and Fetish Codex is a bit expensive for support for what you're getting. Thing is with Nami, when you apply E to people, you actually stack your own Athenes. So just because that's the case, it is something that's very easy to deal with. So here you're getting carried. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Here, your friend is basing, you're taking some risks. Nami should definitely stay, but here you let Morgana also creep into your space. As the thing's good on Senna, don't play Senna support. That's just illegal. Don't do it. It's not good. It's not wise. And there you go again. Okay. So what was this E again? Your E's are actually hilarious, man. You just... a bit too far up. Okay, here your distance control is also very off. Same as Morgana, Darius also has a distance, right? His E goes through creeps, so you can't hide them, but he controls a circle that is this big. Something you have to also judge is with Flash, people control bigger circles, right? So if they have Flash on or Flash off, it also changes the amount of distance they cover. So in this case, Darius has Flash. this is his range, and this is his range with flash, let's say. It's not perfect, the drawing, of course. It looks like a little sun. Let's make it smile. There we go. So this is the distance you need to keep thinking of, right? You need to always judge the distance control. You can also use your volley to control space, but here you're practically volleying him when he's already in your face. This is French for face. He is in your face. He's practically ready to shave off your beard. So obviously this is problematic. He didn't even need to flash. He just chopped you. There's the flash. Darius didn't get a reset here because if he did, he will just kill all, but maybe you kill all. Okay. Luckily, this Darius is maxing wrong spells. Right? E is the spell that you max second. The bonus armored penetration is just too good, and W doesn't give you that much. Right? So you just max E second. Here comes the wave. Okay. Okay. Zap. Bob Zap. Shirelion. Nice Nami. Very good. Okay, Nocturne. He's very trigger happy with Zar. Gets into the action. Dies, of course. 1 for 1. Master Yo-Yo is dead, even with Wit's End. This Veigar is pretty goddamn fed. You're just a binding magnet, dude. This Veigar build. Very poor distance control here. Yeah, you're just walking up too far. Need to move between the auto. Darius has flashed. But here you're protected by your team, so it's fine. Just don't get eat. Best role to start learning low, not jungle. Okay. So to summarize this game, there, Rabbit. You need to start to be in the mindset, you need to be in the mindset of Wing the enemy. You need to begin to use the space that is on this side of the lane a bit more. And think of it as Morgana's job is to try to mirror you. She's going to follow you along this line. And you're going to run back and forth along this line. And then you're going to look to volley, proc your lethal tempo, and then look to push. Level 1 is very important, so don't leash for that long. When you E, make sure to cover as many jungle camps as possible. Cover as many jungle camps as possible and make it a habit. Make the volley thing a habit. Very, very important. Right? You always want to maintain a steady line with your support, so Morgana can't chase you too deep, right? Morgana should not be allowed to chase as deep as she did sometimes because Nami was misplaying. Well, that happens sometimes. This is something you'll have to deal with if you're maining AD carry. Get in the habit of R'ing often, more so than less. Also get in the habit of using Bilge Water Cutlass. Your biscuits are very bad. The way you use biscuits was super bad. You were just playing without a mastery. Keep in mind they are based off of missing health and they are important cooldowns you can keep for the whole game. Are there any key timings to E early on? Well, for example, it could be if enemy starts blue and they have options of level 3 ganking you, then putting something, Eing at that timing is good. Like getting E on level 2, that's good if you are afraid of a level 2 gank. Afterwards, you're going to get level 3 by the time the enemy is doing Golem and Red and so forth, and maybe contesting Crab. There's also good timing to just go through it when you get level 3. Honestly, the timing is pretty simple and straightforward, and then afterwards everything will just be in a rhythm, right? Everything will be in a rhythm. He's going to clear here, and then afterwards he's going to come into bottom. Sometimes junglers, they focus on something else, and there is variety. There is indeed variety, and that is also like there are junglers that do different things, right? There's a Shaco that can maybe clear camps instantly with his boxes and then go or do something. So it's not something that you can follow all the time, but it's definitely good to just make the habit first to E, through the whole jungle. Another thing that you can do if you are in a good position, the best one is if you're playing aggressively here, is just to E the whole jungle. Another one is you can just E the whole river as well at crab spawn timers, which is 3 and 15. Good biscuit usage means that you use it when you're either out of mana. So basically you think of it as a mana reserve. You W, let's... Evil lol, thank you so much. Retas99 with another gift. Thank you so much. Make some other flipping noise. So, we repeat. When you are when you are then it's good to use biscuits for mana. Completely 0 mana. Biscuits are a mana reserve. They take 5 seconds. 5 seconds, 10% missing mana / HP. Right? So you want to use them when you're dropping low. Keep in mind this gets affected by Ignite. The healing gets reduced by Ignite. Very important. Right? So you want to use it when you drop low. Ideally, like if you're 200 HP and you're in lane, you use biscuits first and then your health potion. Right? Very important. So Rabbit, do you have any questions? Or is this enough to take in? The final thing that I would add to the things that you really need to learn is just distance control. And distance control you get through game knowledge, right? You get it through game knowledge. Lux controls a lot of space, right? Her E, her Q, her laser is even longer, right? So if the laser is in, for example, kill range of you, then you have to consider it, because the range of the laser is quite long. I think it's like 2,800. I believe. So you need to consider the E, you need to consider the Q. But sometimes you need to consider that some champions just are long range poke champions, right? So you need to play on movement, because as Ashe, while disregarding your ult, you get outranged by Lux, you need to play on some movement, right? Because hitting max range spells is difficult. You see the projectile going towards you, you can play on movement. So definitely some cases where you have to play on movement. Darius' distance is of course his E. That's what's so dangerous. If he E's you, most of the time you're going to die. He has Ghost, This is distance that you also need to consider, because the distance he can cover with move speed is also very big. Most of the time, a lot of Darius players, they go Trinity first, they have Ghost, they have Flash. This increases the amount of distance they can cover, right? Same way with you playing Ashe, your Flash also increases the amount of space that you can play on, right? Basically, if someone flashes for you, you can also flash or something like this, right? Sometimes there are team fights that you need to win by just flashing in, because you cover distance and cover more space with flash. Morgana, same with Lux as well, is the creeps will decrease her. Let's say these creeps are enemy creeps. They will decrease the amount of space she's targeting. And sometimes you can use players like this. Like in this case, you have a Ramos and a Nocturne. So if they are standing in front of you, if you are here, you're here and they're standing in front of you, then all of a sudden, Morgana has the same issue, right? She cannot hit any key targets. She was going to hit someone, but it's not you getting hit. So you can use your teammates as well as a meat wall. Some spells go through players, like Darius, right? So that's the most important things. There are some small things in terms of how you manage the wave and how you push, and you push at the wrong time, base at the wrong time, have wrong runes. These are all things that you can check in the replay. This will be a VOD right for you. You can just check it out and learn from that too. But the things that I put in my summary are things just at the place where you should start, I believe. This is what you can take in right away and start to improve on, and then it will be better, right? The wave management comes second. The idea of you lining up your creeps, it is just simple planning, right? It's like, for example, here. Let's just go to a specific time. Here you're going to begin to start planning your creeps. It's a very simple concept. Meaning like, okay, this one is going to die first, right? And then afterwards maybe this one. So you can, instead of auto-attacking this one right now because it's taking damage, you can basically attack this one a little bit to push. And then, like, if you just keep auto-attacking one minion and you keep auto-attacking, then sometimes you're going to lose CS because you didn't sequence your autos properly. So in this position, what I would do is I would auto-attack this creep instead of this creep, because you are in danger of losing the CS if you hit this creep one more time. And then you start hitting this one a little bit, and then you will have like a sequence there, right? You'll have a little sequence, and then the same thing will happen for the range creeps. Here, ideally in this position, just to highlight the zoning space again, here Morgana is covering this space, right? This is the safety zone, and you can walk up here, right? You can walk up here, and Nami should be here. Okay. Any more questions, Rabbit? Another thing, considering my ult, should I use it for engages or for lane fights on short range? Use it for both. Use it for both. The thing is, with Ashe Arrow, it's rarely it is bad that you hit it. You know? It's very rarely bad that you hit it. So, considering your silver, it's better to create a habit where you shoot it often than to keep it and do nothing with it. Same with your E, same with your W. That is quite rude. 263. Okay. Some warding. What would you recommend me to do? Just think it's just you need to understand jungle, right? So first, when you figure out how to use your E, you'll begin to spot him. Like let's say you spot him when you E here, then maybe that's a good time to ward because it's preemptive of going. I think word placements, this is things that you can easily find as resources online, but usually like good word placements are, for example, this bush, this bush, this bush. Like when you're laning, it's just this bush. If you have a big tempo swing and you can't harass under the turret, wording here is good. Wording here is good. If Infernal Drake is Drake, wording here is good. This is a good word too. It's just you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just the easiest way is to learn is to just place words, and then when you review your own games, just look if these words actually did anything for you. Did they give you the information that that made you know where mastery is? Because this word is just very bad. Excuse me. So okay.